What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa, and with me as always, the great and powerful, it's Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What is up, y'all?
Tonight's brew is from Bell's. We grabbed one of their multi-packs, and in it we found a cold IPA, the Cold-Hearted IPA. And Obi's going to have a little bit more about that after the break. What's on tap for tonight? Well, I took a trip, a little staycation with my partner, Andy, out to St. Augustine.
Yeah.
The oldest city in America. And I'm going to have I have some thoughts.
Okay.
Some thoughts on that.
We also have some news about some fellow YouTubers.
YouTubers.
Some fellow YouTubers. Watcher, if you guys aren't familiar, guys that were formerly with BuzzFeed back in the day. They made a little steppy in the poo-poo.
Yeah. You could call it a little
flub.
A little flub.
So we're gonna examine that and make sure we don't make similar mistakes in the future.
That's right. And then last but certainly not least, one of the best two zombie movies. I can't really even call them zombie movies.
I mean, they've been pretty adamant they're not zombies. They're infected.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
It's like Last of Us. They're not zombies, they're infected.
Yeah, I guess. In my eyes and in most people's eyes, a reanimated corpse is a zombie. Whether you can call it whatever you want, a walker, an infected,
Well, I do think the difference with 28 Days, I just ruined it. I'm sorry.
28. The 28 series is coming back 28 years later. And what
I was going to say, I think the difference with them, it's more concrete because the infected person does not have to die to reanimate. I don't think the dead reanimate in that universe. It's just you get infected and turn rabid, essentially.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
and you can kill them any which way, like you would a normal human being. Yeah, it's just they're infected.
Okay, so it's a completely different thing. Because I was going to say vampire-esque, but not really, because
there's no supernatural element. It's actually just like bioweapon, basically.
It's really just a disease.
It's a disease, yeah. It's like rabies on steroids.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that because finally the cast got officially announced. Well, some of the cast.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting stuff because the first two movies are awesome. The first one, incredible. And the second one, fun watch.
Oh, it's great. I like it. It's great. It's a fantastic movie. Yeah.
So let's get rocking on into the show. It's episode 423, and this is the One Beer In podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. This is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew, and we see where that one brew takes us. My name is Marco. That's Adam. Let's do this.
Okay.
Can you tell the people a little bit more about what we're drinking tonight?
I can. Unfortunately, I can't from the can.
Oh.
But this is a Bell's Cold-Hearted IPA. It is a cold IPA, if you couldn't tell. Comes in at a 7.0% ABV. But I was able to go on their website at bellsbeer.com.
Bellsbeer.com.
And I found the following description. Under the frozen lake swims a fish that's different from any we've seen before. It's not bad being a little cold-hearted. For a description on beer info, I should say. Excuse me. Dry hopped with Centennial during a cold fermentation. This drinkable cold IPA is crisp and refreshing with all the pine and citrus aromas you'd expect. Cold IPAs are an emerging subset of the IPA style out of the Pacific Northwest and not to be confused with the India Pale Lager, IPL. This one can be found in the Hearted Variety Pack, 7% as I said. Shelf life, about 6 months. Ingredients are water, malt, hops, lager yeast, cane sugar, and the IBUs are 45. Original gravity is 1.009.
1.009.
And their website's actually pretty nice. They have recommended glassware and everything.
Wow.
And where you can find it. Available on draft and the 12-pack variety.
Very cool. Sick.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Bells.
Shout out to Bells.
Cool website. Like it.
Bells. All right. So, I'll just tell you cool cats and kittens about my time in St. Augustine. So, if you live in Central Florida, it's much easier to get to places than I originally thought, or I guess think about.
Sure.
Right. I always think like, oh man, it's gonna take me forever to get out to that thing, or like, you know, I mean, we gotta get like a plane ticket to get out there. You know what I'm saying?
Tampa? What? From
Orlando, St. Augustine is about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
2 hours if there's traffic.
Sure.
It's an easy. You can make a day out of it, really.
Well, we took field trips out there.
That we did.
Yeah.
That we did. And I didn't think about that until I was out there and I saw all these kids and I was like, what are all these kids doing out here? What is this about? And I was like, oh yeah.
So many children.
They made us take a trip out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a really fascinating city, especially I think field trips, speaking of, they're probably the best thing for St. Augustine.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you live in Florida, you have this place, the oldest city in America, has all this history, all these fun things that you can do. They really make it. I mean, the historic district is basically a tourist trap now.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's an entire strip of like an old town settlement, essentially.
Yeah.
Without the reenactors, but you know, like,
yeah,
I'm sure there are people who dress up and stuff.
I think the reenactors are kind of concentrated in the castle now. The Castillo San Marcos.
Yeah. And I think they also do it in the old school too.
Oh yeah, the oldest school.
Yeah.
Or the oldest house. There's an old house. The oldest house. Which we passed it
in the oldest city.
In the oldest city. We just walked by it, didn't even we're like, oh, there's signs. Oh, the oldest house.
Hey, check that out.
Yeah, and then we walked another like 10 minutes and then this couple was like passing us and they're like, have you guys seen the oldest house? We're like, as a matter of fact, you just keep walking that way and you'll hit it.
You're about to run right into it.
So we saw, it was a lot of tourists. And we're trying to, you know, when you go to another city like that, especially like a tourist kind of city,
sure,
you're like, you know, as people who live in the outskirts of a tourist area.
I was going to say, nothing like Orlando.
You're used to the idea of, you know, all of the tourists go out to these certain areas, and then as a local, you stay out of those areas, and you have all the cool bars and places to hit, where you know where to get something to eat, and you don't have to worry about, you know, people walking in with suitcases and shit.
It's like Times Square, New York.
Yeah.
Locals stay out.
Yeah.
And don't want to go to that Applebee's.
So that's what we were trying to do, is try to figure out what areas to go to. I mean, we were doing the touristy stuff too. I mean, we went out there because I love history and
sure.
You know, and you
got to see it. Too. If you're out there, you got to see it.
Yeah. It's like the whole, you know.
Check out the Castillo.
Yeah.
You get some of the coquina. The coquina.
The cocaine?
The cocaina. No, the coquina. It's the stuff they made the castle out of. The shells in that like concrete mix.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. You can buy a little square of it. I got that as a little souvenir for my.
I didn't know that.
For my class trip.
We actually didn't go into the castle.
Oh man, come on. You gotta.
You gotta
see the cannons.
So I know. The cannons only fire on the weekends. It's a jip, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we come out here, dude. That was you know, we came out.
I don't think you can say that anymore.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Should I edit that?
That's fine. It's fine. Everyone makes mistakes. We're learning here.
It sucks. The city is kind of. First of all, the city shuts down really early.
Yeah.
Like 4:30, people start closing up shops. By 5:30, that place is a ghost town. No pun intended.
Oh,
it's
spooky.
crazy how quickly that place shuts down.
It's weird.
Except for like some of the restaurants, like the bigger restaurants, stay
Sure.
open a little bit later.
Sure.
But like the shops and like the strip and all that stuff, I could see the school and the house and some of the museums. That stuff is
yeah.
of course that closes at 5. But like it was eerie because we got a hotel just off of the strip. There's that bridge that crosses over.
Yep.
We got a hotel right there. So we walked from the hotel across the bridge and into the historic district.
Yeah.
And as you're walking, when we're walking back and everything's just shut down, and then the reality of the city kind of sets in and you're like, oh, they have a homeless problem.
No.
It's a whole
No, those are just ghosts. Don't worry about it.
Ooh.
Change,
please. It's a beautiful city, but it's also, I don't know, man, there's just something really it's a red city politically.
Sure.
And so it's an older city and there's older people there, and it's a touristy city, so it's really just kind of, it's really catering to people who are coming in to spend a lot of money and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe this was just a very singular experience, but Andy and I really felt like not welcomed in the historic district.
Yeah.
It was we had multiple instances where we walked into a place and it was just kind of like just a look of
what
like,
are you doing here?
Yeah. And multiple businesses were just like, I don't know, like I feel like the importance of just, I mean, I'm if people who maybe not have been listening don't know, I'm a bartender.
Yeah.
And just the idea of like somebody walking into the bar and be like, hey guys, how you doing? I'll be with you in a second. Just someone saying something to you to let you know, like,
touch the table.
It's just and I mean, anybody in the service industry will know, like, if somebody walks in, you acknowledge them just to say, just to let them know, like,
I see you.
I might be doing something. I'm not gonna like drop everything I got going on to come rush over there, but just let you know, I got you, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And there was we walked into one place, Ancient City Brewing. We saw it on Google. I'm naming them because I'm like, I felt really shitty walking into this place. I don't get it. We walked in, and the only person who greeted us was this drunk dude who just got off the bar and was
hey,
like,
buddy.
hey, what's up? What are you guys doing? And we are like, ew, dude, like, back up.
Hey, man, you work here? No.
No, man. No, I just drink here, brother. And there was 2 bartenders, one behind the bar. She just looked at us, didn't say a word. Just looked at us. So we were like, okay. And then I saw another bartender who was like in the back, also just looked up and then went back to what they were doing. So we just stood there for a second. And we were looking at the menu because they have one of those big board menus on the wall. So we're looking at the menu and we're like, it smells weird in here. There's already a drunk guy here. Dude, it was like 4:00 in the afternoon. This guy was hammered.
Well, I mean, you gotta, apparently, if everything closes at 6.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Started early.
So we just stood there for a second and no one said anything to us. No one was like, hey, how's it going? Like, this is the menu, or like, what do you guys need? Anything. So we just were like, all right, I guess we'll just and there was like 3 other patrons and they all stopped talking and just looked at us. It was so
jazz music
weird.
stops.
Yeah. It was so fucked up. And I was like excited to go there because they looked like on the menu or on Google that they had good beers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck this place.
You know what it probably is? It's that in such a, and it's not a big area, mind you, like to illustrate for people, like the hub of St. Augustine itself is relatively small. Mm-hmm. It's very tight.
Right.
They're probably used, and this is no excuse, I'm just trying to come up with reasonings here. It's probably because they're so used to having obnoxious tourists come in and kind of ruin the vibe that they're going for.
Yeah.
So they just assume if they see a new face that you're a threat.
Yeah.
Or like you're not welcome here.
Yeah.
You know, like get your beer and get going.
Right.
Which is not a way to operate a business, mind you, because why would you not want new patrons?
Right.
But looking at it from that perspective, St. Augustine has a very small town feel outside of the touristy crap. Yeah. I mean, it's I don't mean to call it crap. Interesting stuff. But I mean, like, you know, the tourist traps and the souvenir shops and et cetera, et cetera. So I think people tend to get more tribal.
Yeah.
In those circumstances, in places like that, because I've felt the same way in places that are smaller towns and that seem to have their own very non-inclusive community of people that are like, what are you doing here? Like, I've never seen you before.
Right, and that's it. I think that was a big part of it. Was they're probably very in touch with the locals, probably know all the people who come there frequently, and then if they're not a familiar face, they're like, just get your shit and get out of here.
Or they put the impetus on you to prove that you're cool.
Yeah.
And not going to be some asshole.
Well, okay, so to that point, I want to shout out 2 bars that actually treated us really well. 2 of the, admittedly, hipstery places off of the historic district, just outside of that was Sarbs, I think it's called. It's like a bar / grilled cheese place.
Oh, okay.
And I'm telling you, these grilled cheese sandwiches were so good. It's crazy.
Okay.
So good. The bartender, she was really welcoming. She gave us a bunch of info. Is it Sarbez? Yeah.
Or maybe it's pronounced Sarbs. I don't know. Sarbez.
The
grilled cheese
bartender
and
there,
craft beer lounge.
She was awesome. She hooked everything up. And then she told us about their sister bar, Muggsy's.
Okay.
Which was they were on one side of the strip.
Good name for a bar.
Yeah,
Muggsy's.
Yeah. And then Muggsy's was on the other side of the strip. So later on, we hit Muggsy's. And it was basically like our sports town. You walk in there and there's a pool table. It's kind of small. They had all these throwback vintage jerseys hanging from the rafters. They had fucking Chris Webber, and they had an Allen Iverson All-Star jersey.
Beautiful.
And then they had a strip of the top 10 play. They had a Dikembe Mutombo, Michael Jordan. Who else was on the wall? Karl Malone. Fuck you, Karl Malone.
Yeah.
And there was one other jersey, but it was really sick. We walk in. Andy wanted to do an Underberg. And they didn't have them at Sarbs. We asked for them there. This is why she told us about Muggsy's, because she was like, we don't have any here, but Muggsy's has a shit ton, so go over there. So we went over there, and the first thing we asked for was the Underbergs, and the bartender was like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anybody who wants to do an Underberg, you're cool in my book. And he sat down, he put them in front of us, and he gave us a little bit, we was just chopping it up with him. So we're like, okay, well, maybe we'll come back to this spot when we have a little bit of time. So we came back that night.
Yeah.
And it was a new bartender. We did the same thing. We were like, hook us up with a couple of Underbergs. He took one with us.
Nice.
And it was basically the same feel of yo, anybody who walks in their first round as an Underberg, you're cool in my book. So he sat with us and we talked for a little bit, and it was just I don't know, man. It's the attitude of, hipsters are usually super liberal and
Sure.
That's kind of the whole vibe of, whether it's artificial or not. The vibe is that aggressive positivity of what's up, dude? How's it going? Man?
It can go the other way though. They could be
oh yeah, oh yeah. It mostly goes the other way.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I don't want to paint all hipsters with a broad brush of positivity.
Right. For sure.
The idea of the hipster is very exclusive and not inclusive.
Well, and I guess maybe the thing is that I'm trying to get across is that it doesn't really matter what kind of bar it is, what kind of bartender there is. What matters is we walked in and we weren't assholes and we weren't demanding anything. Come on, dude. It's me and Andy. It's not like we walked in and we were like, where the fuck is the beer at?
Yeah. Two service industry people.
Yeah.
Most understanding.
Right. So whether we walk into an Outback Steakhouse or the coolest fucking bar on the block or the most expensive, we're gonna go into all of those places with the same level of respect for the service industry and the workers and everything, and expecting that same respect back. That's really it. So I don't even the fact that it's a red city and that it's probably mostly Republicans who work in those places on the strip, none of that really matters. What matters is when we walk in, do we get treated with respect?
Sure. Yeah.
And we didn't get that in a lot of places,
especially if you're paying money there.
Yeah. Do you want this money or not? And some of those places are like, no, we're fine.
Well, and that's exactly why I had this thought actually is in Japan, they can very easily go, no, we don't want your business.
Right.
And all you got to say to that is, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll spend my tourist money somewhere else.
Dude, what I would prefer
and that's
it
fine.
that way.
I respect it.
Yeah.
It's fine. You don't look. You would rather take a loss than deal with me because I'm not going to know what I'm talking about. You're not going to understand me probably. It's going to take a little bit longer to deal with me, and I can point at the menu and stuff.
Yeah.
I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't like my face, maybe. I don't know. It's fine.
Look right and said, no, not that one.
Up front, you let me know ahead of time. You don't begrudgingly serve me.
Yeah.
I'd rather that 9 times out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. Just, we don't have to go through this song and dance.
Sure.
I don't need to be here.
Sure.
And it's not even have to be like a malicious thing. Like, I literally don't need to be here. I can go somewhere else and no harm, no foul. We don't even have to do this.
Yeah.
There was another place, Rendezvous. Somebody, shout out to Nate. He messaged me and was like, go to this place. We go in there. Their hours are 12 o'clock. They're supposed to close at 12.
Okay.
We walked in at 10.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they closed at 10, which is fine. I mean, I've had that happen to me a million times when people walk into the bar and they saw something online and I have to tell them, like, hey, guys, we're closed. But it was just the dude. We walked in and the guy barely even looked up. He's like, we're closed. And then just went back to talking to it. And I was just we were just like, oh, okay. Do you want us to kill ourselves right here in the middle of this bar? Do you want to watch us bleed out? What's the matter with you?
Tell me you didn't have a slight impulse to do that in front of them just so that they were ruined for the rest of their night.
That's all I wanted was just
okay.
Let's cool. Like, just made us feel like pieces of shit. It's dude, especially when people do that to me, I get annoyed when they look at the hours on the door. They walk in and they're like expecting a beer, and I'm like, but even at my most annoyed, I go up to people and I'm like, hey guys, sorry, we're closed. We closed at 10 o'clock. I apologize.
Yeah.
I don't want people to feel dumb.
Sure.
It's just like, my bad, guys. There's a clear misunderstanding here. You clearly walked past the sign on the door. There was no sign on the door.
Yeah.
There was no hours. We looked for the doors. The doors were wide open.
Yeah.
So they're closing up shop. First of all, nobody's doing shit. This guy's standing. He's behind the bar talking to somebody.
Yeah.
There are people in the bar. No one's cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
The doors are wide open, and there's no hours on the door. So the only resource we have is Google, which said 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And again, if we're just like, hey, sorry about that, guys, we're actually closed. All right, we turn around and be like, damn, that sucks. Maybe they just don't have the updated information. But just the shitty way of like, we're closed, and then just go back to talk. It's like, you know what, man? How about we fucking fight right now? How about I fist fight you for being so mean to me?
Yeah. I'll get my own beer. It's fine. I'll go back there.
So it was just that kind of attitude really kind of permeated through everything that we were doing in the
hostile environment.
Yeah. And then as soon as we go outside of that, we get treated nicely, get treated with respect. Yeah. We went to this taco truck that's sitting inside of a brewery. Shout out to Bog Brewing. I got some good beer from them. But the taco place is called Taco My Blessing. We got hooked up by the bartender who told us, go over. There's the most authentic Mexican food I've ever had, and it's at a taco truck outside of this brewery. And we're like, that sounds like some fucking, if you know, kind of shit. And we're like, all right, sick. So we go, and boy,
it worked.
Woof.
Yeah.
And again, it's just like little stuff like that. Like the people who ran this truck were super nice and accommodating.
Yeah.
And we had to talk up the bartender a little bit to get him to kind of come around. But then he came around and he was nice too. So it's like, sure. I don't know. I guess maybe it's a post-pandemic thing. Maybe everybody's kind of on edge. And maybe there's just no excuse for people not knowing how to people are just more and more or less like we're getting this attitude of like I'm in the service industry right now. You've worked in the service industry. I don't believe in the customer is always right. So I'm not saying that the bartenders need to lay down and drop everything and come service.
Clearly not.
But I do believe in the idea of mutual respect.
Yeah. And I think I do to your suggestion that it might be a result of the pandemic. I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's always been that way.
Yeah.
There's always been people who, people and bars, I should say specifically, that are exclusionary and, are for locals only, quote unquote. I will say my favorite thing is to walk into one of those places and by the end of the day, like, win them over.
Yeah.
I love to turn that around just by being a normal ass person. And even if it takes me to take the first step, even though you don't need to as the customer, as the one being served, I usually give them one try. I'll step forward, go, hey, how's it going? Like nobody, actually greets me. I'll say, okay, maybe I'll chalk it up, Give them a chance. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
All right. What you be having? I'll take a PBR, please. Thank you very much. Bring it over. All right. And then suss out the area after that. If I'm still getting bad vibes, forget it. I don't owe you any more of my money.
Yeah.
But it is nice to be able to sort of overcome that, even though it's not your responsibility to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if we were given the opportunity, or maybe we're a little more forthcoming in that regard, might have been able to do that. But I think
you shouldn't waste your time on vacation, though.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
that's the thing. Is
not.
like, it's not like, I mean, we don't have all day to sit here and try to like convince people that we, deserve for them to just say hi to us.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I haven't even begun to talk about the fucking hotel, which I'm just gonna leave it at this. The city itself, beautiful city. I think maybe the attitude of the city maybe needs an attitude adjustment. Shout out to John Cena. But outside of the historic district, very welcoming, very accommodating. I would say, if you're going on a trip to St. Augustine, do all the touristy stuff. Hit the museums. Hit the the Castillo.
Yeah.
Do the ghost tours. Hit the trolley. Do all that stuff. But then when you're looking for a good time, get the fuck out of the historic district. Because just outside of that, you got the winery, you got the distillery, you got some cool ass bars. You don't socialize in that area.
Yeah.
Because it fucking sucks.
I'm really upset because there used to be this winery, wine bar.
Yeah.
That was on the historic district, on the line. It was like Monk's Vineyard, I think it was called. Like anyone who ever went there, I started following him on Facebook because I was like, I had such a great time here. And he ended up having to close it down.
That sucks.
Like I think just before the pandemic.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that like it just takes one good guy on that strip to make the difference, because like he was so welcoming. He made his spot a chill spot that anyone could come into and just hang out.
Yeah.
And he would talk to you the entire time. He was like a real ass bartender.
Yeah.
It was like a kind of felt like you were walking into like the Prancing Pony or something, like he just had such a and people you saw like locals come in and just sit down. He's like, hey, what's up, Bob? And they just sit there and like just chat and hang out. And it was honestly a place I really wanted to go back to at some point, but they closed down. And I'm like, it sucks. It sucks.
And then what prevails? These fucking places. Assholes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from what you're telling me, visit the historic district during the day.
Yeah.
Do that stuff, then go outside for nighttime.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Yeah.
Restaurants.
Yeah.
Bars,
I think that's the move.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Seems like a good day.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So
you get to go to the beach at all?
No.
Or
So
no?
we planned on going to the beach. Got there day of, checked into the hotel, kind of just hung out a little bit. Then the next day, that was the day we were going to spend at the beach.
Yeah.
And it dropped to like 59 degrees.
Oh.
So the whole day was windy as shit.
Oh no.
It was nice walking around weather, but
Sure.
it was not beach weather. So we
Couldn't
didn't get to
take
hit the
a
beach.
dip.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's one of the it's an hour and 45 minutes away. It's an easy trip. It's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
So we'll go back, but we know the places to avoid now.
Yeah,
I guess
it's good.
is the lesson.
It's good to know.
Yeah. Well, I might pop back into Ancient City and see if maybe that was just a one-time deal. Because sometimes, people have a bad day.
Sure.
And sometimes you just walk in and like, I know that I'm not perfect. There's people who probably have stories about the curly-headed fuck who works at...
Oh, we know people have stories.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's no one's perfect. And maybe I just walked in and these people were having a bad day.
Sure,
and you know,
like I say, I like giving people one shot.
Yeah. So we might pop back in there, or maybe not.
Sure.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
So, yeah. I could spend another half an hour talking about the hotel. I'll just say that it was a weird experience.
Was it like an old hotel?
No, it was a nice, newer,
no.
like kind of Art Deco place. And they messed up the check-in. They messed up the money, like the way that we paid them, but they didn't take the payment, and all kinds of weird stuff. And then one of the guys who works there, he like threw a temper tantrum because he couldn't figure out what was going on. So somebody had to step in and help him out. It was so weird, dude. It really felt like for every good experience we had, it was like one step forward, two steps back. We just kept running into weird stuff happening.
It was such a haunted trip.
Yeah. It was like we would do one thing and be like, oh, that was good. And then you step into another place and you're like, why was that so weird?
Yeah.
It was so strange. Yeah. Yeah, dude. It was so, dude. We went to this place called Sangria's, and the waitress, she ID'd us. Andy takes their ID out, starts showing. So she asked Andy, and she's like, do you mind if I see your ID? And she kind of had that like, do you mind? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Andy starts pulling their ID out.
Yep.
I start taking my ID out, and she goes, yeah, I don't think I'm going to need yours. And I was like, what?
That's your daughter, right?
Yeah, dude. What a fucking... Why would you put me in that position?
Oh, God.
Why would you do that? It's so humiliating.
She did you so dirty.
And then she was like, I mean, I can look at it if you want. And I was like, no, not now. Now that you've said that.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll pretend you didn't just say that.
Yeah, it was like so... Oh, my God. I was like... I mean... I know, like, I don't feel like I look old, but I obviously to this lady look so much older than Andy. I'm older than Andy, but not that much older. Yeah, it was fucked up.
Yeah,
and again, you could tell like she just didn't really want to serve us, and I was just like, we don't have to be here. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That was another one. That was, dude. Yeah. All right. Okay. I think, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
St. Augustine, beautiful city.
Yeah.
Make a day of it.
Lots of history.
But, go outside.
Get out of there before the ghosts come.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, there was this lady walking around with a big flag that said Trump won on it. And she was just walking. I mean, it was a huge flag.
Yeah.
Like one of those, like when people walk around with those big ass cross because they're trying to, emulate Christ or whatever.
Yeah,
She was.
Yeah. Same thing.
It's just same exact thing.
Same idea.
Same exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the kind of city that we were walking.
Nice.
Through. Yeah.
Might attract more people.
Yeah.
Depends on what you like.
All right. That's all I got.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm glad you had a time.
I had a time.
Yeah.
I had a time.
Some would say the best.
I wouldn't, but
But some would say. Well, with that in the rear view, I think we should move forward into something that has been rocking the YouTube world. I've seen so many reactionary videos about this across the YouTubes. So Watcher is born out of former BuzzFeed talent, specifically from BuzzFeed Unsolved. They got kind of big off of that. Shane Madej, Ryan Bergara, and Stephen Lim especially are the three kind of the trifecta that started Watcher. Similar to kind of like a Kind of Funny did from IGN back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
But they kind of split off, made their own thing, and have been largely successful. I've kept watching them. I think they make quality content. And yeah, just generally well liked on the internet overall.
Yeah, I think I didn't really watch. The only thing that I would watch from BuzzFeed was BuzzFeed Unsolved. Like those two guys made it. It's not surprising that Watcher has been so successful because Shane and Ryan especially make really good content.
Yeah.
And
they got great rapport.
Yeah. And so the stuff that they've done, I mean, I was pleasantly, when they started their own YouTube channel, I was skeptical because I was like, the guys, the BuzzFeed Unsolved guys are going to start their own entire YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What are they going to, because I'm not going to sit through all this unsolved content.
Yeah.
There's only so much unsolved that I can watch.
Sure.
I'm like Shane. I'm a skeptic. So like it's entertaining to watch, but after a while you're just like, you're not going to find anything.
Right. It's like
why are we still...
The Sasquatch Hunters or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like how can you watch that many episodes of a show where you know they're not... How can you be so compelled by a show that you know has no ending? Because you know that the ending's already solved.
Yeah.
The mystery is already solved.
There's no money shots.
It's not happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you continue to watch that? That to me, I would love to interview somebody who watches a show like that.
I watch a show like that.
What show?
Watcher. Ghost Files.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. But at least it's those guys are funny and entertaining.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is the reason the answer to your question of like how can this be sustainable? First of all, they made many different types of shows.
Well, yeah, so I didn't even get to that part, but yes.
But speaking just of Ghost Files, which became their kind of unsolved supernatural version, it's because they have such good rapport. They're funny together.
Yeah.
And I think uniquely they take it in a very honest way that other quote supernatural shows don't. Mm-hmm. So it's from a skeptical point of view mostly.
You're not on camera. Don't worry about it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But I was gonna. This is gonna. Yeah.
But yes, I think
or Ghost Files, the Puppet Mystery,
Puppet History.
Puppet Mystery. I mean, good.
Puppet History is great. They did one where they. It's a Weird Wonderful World where they literally just went around to different like attractions and just hung out.
Yeah.
They
had a cooking show with Stephen Lim, which by the way, I want to get back to this.
Okay.
Stephen Lim.
The Stephen Lim character.
So I had no idea. I felt this way too. I had no idea that I was with a group of people who don't like Stephen Lim.
You don't like Stephen?
I don't like him.
Oh no.
I never liked him. And there's all these people who are like, fuck Stephen Lim. And I was like, I thought I was the only one. That's why I never brought it up. That's why this is news to you, because I never brought it up, because I always thought...
Why don't they like him? Why don't you like him?
So, okay, from what I've read with this Watcher stuff, is he is the business arm of the company.
Yeah, he stepped up as the sole... I think they called him the CEO. Like he's the main business guy behind everything.
So when we get to what we're going to talk about, he is being blamed not solely but mostly for making these decisions.
Well, and
you can also tell like Shane very clearly is not like
reading body.
I mean, I'm not. I hate the body language shit. I fucking hate that stuff.
All that speculation.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. I don't like to speculate on somebody's body language. But when you watch the video, he does seem very disinterested and almost like not disgusted, but like he seems like he's not fully on board.
Yeah.
And there's that moment where he says like, just share the password with your friends.
Yeah.
And you can tell that that's like a moment where he's kind of he's kind of giving the game away a little bit, where he's like, hey, just share the password. Like we're doing
fine.
This. So whatever. Anyway, that's why the majority of people don't like him. I don't like him because I think he's just a fucking vacuum of fun and of. He just seems like such a bummer on the shows that like what's the one where they tell spooky stories by the campfire and he's making drinks.
Yeah.
He just seems like such a bummer. Like
what's that show called?
Ghost. No.
It's not Ghost Files.
No, it's
Too Many Spirits.
Too Many Spirits. Too Many Spirits is it's a fun
show. It's a really fun show.
But then every time they cut to Steven and it just seems like such a fun vacuum. Like he just seems like the guy who's like, oh God, he's just here complaining again. You're like, so sick of this dude, man.
I will say, I think he is best at what he used to do back in the BuzzFeed days, which is the like more professional cooking, food centric thing.
Even his food show on Watcher sucks.
But it wasn't even that. They're actually going to restart it on Watcher, apparently.
The show that he was doing on BuzzFeed?
Yeah, with a couple other guys. And the entire thing, it's what's the name of the show? Worth It. It was the show used to be called Worth It.
I remember that. I remember that show.
Yeah, so they would have like 3 different versions of like a type of food.
Yeah.
in an area.
Yeah,
specific area. So like tacos. So you'd start off in like a taco truck, then you move up to like a middle restaurant, and then like a high end taco.
Yeah. See, that's a good show. That's a
great
good
show.
concept.
Yeah.
I don't think Steven needs to host it. He's just not. He has no charisma. He's not a good host for anything. He just seems boring.
I think he works best as a straight man, and I think him and the other guy work well together because they are both kind of more buttoned up and straight laced.
Yeah.
And I think that works for that type of show because
Sounds boring to
it's
me.
much more documentary in style. It's not as funny and kind of over the top. They kind of shoot straight a bit, which is fine. And I think it's okay to have that in the midst of more wacky stuff that like Ryan and Shane are doing.
I feel like stuff like that. If part of shows like part of the beauty of shows like that is you are living this experience through that person.
Yeah.
Right. And if that person is not that interesting, then you're like, I wouldn't hang out with this person, and so I wouldn't trust this person's opinion on things because I'm like, I don't want to be this guy's friend anyway. Why would I hang out with this dude? And ergo, why would I trust his opinion on this place? Right?
Sure.
Versus more fun and more interesting people. Like I know it's this is a crazy comparison, so forgive me. I'm not comparing the two. It's apples and oranges. Okay. But watching No Reservations, for instance, like Tony is so compelling and charismatic,
well spoken,
and you're like, oh man, I just want, even if I don't agree, I want to experience that because of the way that he brought, and even if you go to the lower, like Guy Fieri is, I would hang out with Guy Fieri, and if Guy Fieri's like this fucking barbecue place, I'd eat it on a flip flop. You're like, that's a weird thing you just said, Guy, but
I'm on board, man.
Yeah. Adam Richman is one of my favorite TV food hosts.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who's well-informed, a little more straight-laced, but also fun. He seems like a guy that I would want to hang out with. Stephen Lim is just such a boring dude. So that's my beef with him personally.
That's fine. I don't.
It's nothing to do with the business. I don't care about that.
Sure. I don't have as strong a feeling on Stephen. I think he's good for the general chemistry of the entire Watcher enterprise. But let's get into the controversy. The controversy. So just last week, they announced that they were going to leave YouTube, which is big news because that is their home. They've been YouTubers since day one, really. Yeah. Their reasoning behind it is that it's currently unsustainable, really, with advertisers kind of leaving and being more picky about what they promote, and the level of quality that they're striving for is TV level quality. Yeah. So they're saying like they need more funding in order to continue to keep their team of 25 now afloat when it used to be 3 essentially, or 5, whatever. So with that in mind, they are going to leave YouTube to create essentially their own platform of Watcher Media that would be the home for all of their content moving forward. The only thing that would be on YouTube afterwards would be everything that's come out so far. They would keep that on YouTube. But then every premiere and essentially like previews for the upcoming seasons of their shows would be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you would need to be a subscriber for their platform.
Right.
And that would be $6 a month or $60 for a full year.
Yeah.
So people did not like that idea. Immediately.
I don't think I've ever seen an entire community come together like this. Well, actually, I've seen it a couple times. the Sonic thing was pretty fascinating.
Yeah. And Universal.
The reason I bring up Sonic is because to watch a machine change directions, I mean,
so fast.
Yeah, we've talked
Gotta
about...
Gotta go fast.
Way fast. Nice.
Thank you.
I mean, we've talked about how difficult it is for companies to change their... I mean, okay, you are in marketing. You watch how this process takes place when a company decides this is the direction that we're going in. Yeah. This is what we're trying to sell to people. Imagine if somebody came to Wyndham and was like, actually, that idea sucks, and now you need to change everything within the next 3 days. That's a crazy thing to demand.
Yeah.
Right?
That would demand all hands on deck to shift everything.
And so that just doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And to watch it happen is fascinating in current day, like marketing and watching, like, because, you know, we're so in tune with social media and everything. Yeah. It's fascinating to watch a company change direction so quickly.
Yeah.
And boy.
So yeah, within a weekend, really. Yeah. It was literally over the weekend, I think they took to like think about it.
Yeah.
And then come earlier this week, they came out with essentially an apology video.
Yeah.
And said, I think the first line that Steven said was, "We messed up." And mess up they did. Because, like you were saying, universally, people were like, this is a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. I love you guys. I've supported you since day one. But I will not be making the jump over to your dedicated subscription platform. It's just not going to happen. It's unreasonable.
Yeah.
In this economy. And it's just like, I mean, I'm interjecting my own opinion here, but it's just so hard to ask people for money for something they've been getting for free this entire time.
Yeah.
And not to mention, you know, they have a Patreon that's been wildly successful.
Right.
So a lot of people are kind of calling them on like, well, you know, you're not properly running your company if you can't make it off of how successful your YouTube is with advertisers. And a Patreon on top of that. Yeah. A successful Patreon on top of that.
I'm not a pocket watcher. I hate that shit. I hate when people talk about somebody else's money in that way and like how people are making money.
Yeah.
But I will say, I agree. If you have a successful Patreon and a uber successful YouTube channel, and then you turn around and you're like, we're still not making enough money, you have to question the business practices and also just the greed of the company of like, how much money do y'all motherfuckers need, man?
Well, I understand, because I was actually talking to Sherry about this, because Sherry and I are both big Watcher fans. So as soon as I saw that initial video, I was like, my heart's breaking a little bit. Yeah. Like, this sucks. Mm-hmm. Because it kind of feels like you're, you know, like parasocial relationship here, but it feels like your friends are kind of betraying you in a way.
Yeah.
But in thinking about it, it's like, look, for the same reason why it's a bad decision to do it right now, it also makes sense that it is the time that they would decide to do that now.
Right.
The economy's not great. You know, things cost more.
Yeah.
You know, we know that they have spent tons of money on this like extravagant studio to try to make their TV level quality YouTube videos. And they have. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. The shows look great. They look like they could be on TV.
The shows do look great, but like to put it in our face, like we're trying to make TV level content, and it's like, all right, man, okay, fine. TV shows cost millions of dollars to make.
Sure.
Good TV shows, anyway.
Yeah.
Do you need millions of dollars to host a puppet TV show?
Right.
Maybe not.
Well,
I don't know. It's 'cause some of the stuff is like, all right, how drastically is the content going to change when I start giving you $6 a month?
Right.
Or am I going to be watching Puppet History, but now I have to spend $6 to do it?
Right. What is going to change? Is this just a sustainability thing? Like, have you suddenly like raised the bar for what the barrier for entry, I should say, to watching the content we already know and love? Like, that sucks to do to people.
And to tell people that, or to ask people to give you money for your specific platform every month when we're already paying for we're already being overcharged. I mean, Netflix is raising the prices of their subscription service every 3 months at this point. Everyone is going either ad tier or pay us so that you don't get ads.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm spending...
Or no sharing passwords and stuff.
No sharing passwords. I don't even want to think about how much money I'm spending on streaming services right now.
No,
I'm not going to visualize it. But what I can tell you is, even if it was $3 a month, it's still like, dude, you're asking for more money out of, like, I'm stretching.
Right.
I'm rubbing 2 coins together right now, brother. How much more do you want?
Right. For a much bigger platform, too, mind you.
Right.
It's not just Watcher Media. It's like Hulu.
Exactly. So I don't have to worry about just watching these 3 knuckleheads every day. I can watch all this other stuff.
A ton of knuckleheads.
Yeah. So, like, I think it was insane, even on its face.
Yeah.
Even before you get into the absolutely disgusting original video, which we haven't even talked about.
Sure.
I cannot believe that these 3 dudes that thought that was a good idea. That first video is nauseating.
I can't think that they truly thought this would not go off without a hitch. You know, like...
Maybe they thought if they pulled on heartstrings that people would, like...
I mean, they tried. They tried, but...
It is. If you guys haven't watched it, and I don't know if they're going to remove it
they
off
probably
their channel.
will. I'm sure they will. Like, why would you keep that up?
Right. If they remove it, I'll just tell you, the 3 of them go through
on
this,
the couch.
like... Yeah, they're sitting on the couch, and it's like that one video where the guys... Who were
the Try Guys?
Yeah, the Try Guys.
Yeah.
And they had the one guy who was, like, cheating on his wife, and they made it seem like he beat her to death or something.
Look, you know, we're coming here to...
What?
To talk.
He had an affair with an employee that was underpaid.
Okay. He didn't murder anybody. They made it seem like he killed someone. I'm not saying it's appropriate.
Yeah.
It's incredibly inappropriate. A terrible thing that this guy did. But the way that they filmed that video, they made it seem like he was fucking Hitler or something.
Yeah.
There was...
Like he was having sex with Hitler.
Exactly. He was fucking Hitler.
Yeah.
No, it was way too dramatic. And
it was very
like,
dramatic.
It was too much. Like, they're sitting on their couch like...
Straight face.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, guys... I'm not asking you to make a joke of this whole thing, but I definitely don't need you to make it seem like it's the end of the world. It's inappropriate. He got fired. He should have got fired.
Yeah.
He deserved to lose his job. He used his power. But then again,
leave it there.
It was
leave it there. Stand back. Stand down.
Throw up.
This beer's not that high enough ABV, okay?
I'm going to leave it there.
Leave it there.
All right? And
you take it, you put it down.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it there.
Too hot.
I'm gonna leave it
Too
there.
hot.
I'm gonna
Too
leave
hot.
It there.
Yeah.
I will just say...
Good idea.
I will just say that the Watcher filmed a video in the same respect, and it was like, hey, guys, stop acting like... this money is going to saving children or something.
Yeah.
You are asking us to pay you to make more silly content that we're already paying for.
Sure.
Like the multiple people I saw in the comments and online, and people were like, listen, it's YouTube. We're used to sitting through ad reads. It's fine.
Yeah.
Why are you making it seem like you're doing us a favor? And I pay for YouTube Premium. So I'm already paying for the platform that they're on.
Sure.
So, again, unless you're going to start hiring like A-list actors and you're going to start like your budget's going to increase. Yeah. And you're going to start making feature-length films on top of your documentary style stuff. I really don't see why why should I pay you for... I'm already paying for the platform you're on.
Well, and that's why I felt so betrayed as a big fan, is that like my knee-jerk reaction was like, I don't want to miss out on like the next season of Ghost Files. Like, it's something I enjoy watching, and it's gonna suck to have to miss out on that, because first of all, I don't have the money for it. Secondly, on my own like standards and values, I'm not gonna pay these people.
Yeah,
because this is such a bad idea.
Yeah.
And the spit in everyone's eye is that exactly what Steven said, which is, I think, one of the main reasons why he's getting so much pushback personally, is that he said, we tried to make it affordable for everyone at $6 a month. Yeah. And immediately everyone's calling that out like, what planet are you on?
Right.
To think that $6 a month is sustainable for something that is the most frivolous thing I could possibly throw money at.
Yeah.
Like
it's really, really out of touch take.
Yeah.
To be like, this was the number that we landed on. We were thinking about the brokies, and we were thinking about the people who could afford this.
Yeah,
and
the
we
whales. And
and we were like, that's the number we landed on was 6. That's the acceptable number that we decided you guys can afford.
6.
Yeah, it's so crazy out of touch.
That was the worst part of the entire video for me. It was like, wow, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it was yeah. And I don't know, man. Like even watching the video, the first video, that kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to Steven, because you're watching him and you're like, you don't get it at all.
Yeah, it made him look bad.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who doesn't feel strongly as you do about the guy as a personality.
Yeah.
That it sucked. It sucked to hear that. But I mean, I think we should move on to their sequel to this video, which was the quick
remix.
Yes, the quick, not so subtle "We're sorry" video, which again came out I think the week after they posted the other one. And
before you continue, do you have a number in your mind? Because this is all we got.
I know. Well, I mean, that's a good sign, right? Like that means it's pretty good.
I would say so. But I'm thirsty, so.
Okay, drunkie. How about you relax for a second?
Guys off camera. Woo, classics.
Yeah, the classics. I did want to compare the two.
How do you want to do this?
Okay, we can review it now.
You want to review it now?
Because it's fresh,
Okay.
But we'll mess up the show. Let's maybe keep it in the mind.
Keep it in mind. I have my number. I'm
gonna write it down.
Okay.
So I don't forget.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Don't look at it.
Okay.
Don't look at it.
Okay. Sorry.
It's a secret.
Okay.
Okay. So what I was saying was they pretty quickly came back with a reply to all of the vitriol they were getting over the weekend, and essentially said sorry. We messed up. We were out of touch. We miscalculated here. So we're walking it back. What we're gonna do is we're going to make the platform 1 month early premiere for every season of their shows, and then they will drop on YouTube for free, as they always have.
This is the face that my mom makes. Somebody be talking that bullshit.
I'm glad I never got that face.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No.
And we're like, come on, listen to me.
So yeah, the plan now is just to essentially keep things the way they were, but give people who subscribe to it a 1 month early release. They will give people who are currently subscribed to the Patreon, I think, a year subscription, and they
that's cool.
will refund. I'm not sure if it's the full year or not, but they're going to give people a free. From what they said, they're going to give them a free subscription to the platform if you are on Patreon currently.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if anyone who has subscribed in the time that from the first video to the second video doesn't feel like keeping it anymore, they can get a full refund, no questions asked.
Bro, anybody who did, you don't deserve a refund.
Well, I mean, if you already did, you're probably going to stay on anyway because you're like an Uber fan. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So, but, I think it's a nice gesture that they're like, if you're unhappy with how this whole thing's gone down at all and you've already spent money, get in contact, we'll refund you the money.
Yeah.
It's fine. So the vast majority of reception I've seen from it has been positive. I think people have been way more receptive to this plan. I don't know what the ramifications will be for them as a company moving forward, because they made it seem so dire in that first video, like we need this money or else we're going to go under, or we're going to have to start firing people. So it will be interesting to see how they recover from that based on how dire they made it seem versus the reality of things. If they can make it work this way, then we know they were bullshitting the entire time, and they could have made it work this way the entire time.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly it. The way that they filmed that first video made you think that, like, children were starving if they don't get this $6.
This is the only way forward for us, is what they said.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
This is the only way. This is it. This is the only way forward.
Yeah.
This is the only way to continue filming your puppet content.
Right. Hey, those puppets don't cost cheap, you know. You gotta pay for those puppets.
All I imagine is like Shane just sitting at a desk, just like, you know, cutting and like
sewing,
and,
which I'm sure he does.
Yeah, and listen, I want to say for the record that, like, I appreciate the work that they put in to make Watcher what it is. The stuff that they did and continue to do. I mean, from the Let's Play stuff to Puppet. I love Puppet History.
Me too.
Puppet History is amazing.
It's one of my favorite shows on YouTube, for
awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, their Ghost Files, Too Many Spirits. Like, they have a full channel
Mystery
of stuff.
Files they've started doing.
Mystery Files.
Yeah.
The cooking show with Stephen Lim, which I didn't like, but I know people watched it and liked it and stuff. Like, they're putting that work in. I don't want it to be mistaken that I don't. I am a fan. I like Watcher, and I like the guys and the stuff that the work that they were putting in. You can tell it does cost money. It's a high product, a high production value product. I get that.
Yeah.
But man, they really, really sounded out of touch with that first video. Really just like was like, guys, you got to be more attuned to the demographic that's watching these videos. I saw a lot of people saying, like, a lot of comments were like, I'm a student. Yeah. I'm 20, 21 years old. I'm in college right now. I don't have any money. I watch Watcher because, you know, it matches my sense of humor and I like these shows, but I don't have any money. I can't. I'm not paying for any of this.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't afford. They say $6 a month is cheap, and like that's the number that they landed on for the brokies out there.
That's lunch, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to think about that person. You're the common denominator is that person, and that's who you should be advertising to. You should never. Ever be looking at the person who you already know can afford this service. Well, you're not advertising to them.
The smart way to do it is to make your main focus those people.
Yeah,
the people, the common folk, if you will.
Common folk.
You know, your the bottom of the pyramid here. You know, all those people who've been watching Watcher since the debut with. You know, ads interjected in their YouTube videos, you know, like those people, I guarantee there are far more of those than the people who are on the Patreon, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you give people who are of, you know, more means the option to give you more money for more product.
Yeah.
You know, it is the simplest of economics. you advertise to that I don't want to call them lowest common denominator, but that's what they are. You know, like the widest fan base.
I don't think it's an insult.
I don't mean it in that way, because again, I wasn't going to pay for it, so, I'm right there with you. I'm here.
We're the lowest common denominator.
But you really advertise the majority of your content for them, and then you give people who have more to give something special.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah,
and that's how it should always be, and that's the way it's been. But if my main thing here is, like, it felt so manipulative as a fan to feel like now we must bear the burden because they overextended themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not my fault. Like, I enjoy the content, but I've seen a lot of these comments too with that first video of saying, like, we don't tune in because you guys have a world-class studio. We tune in because, like, of the friendships you guys have, of the chemistry you guys have, the ideas you have for shows. Like, we don't need all this stuff that you've accumulated. This 25-person team. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, if their jobs don't make sense when the money's crunched, you don't need them all.
Yeah.
or you shouldn't have them.
Yeah.
You know, you've made it work without them before.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't. It doesn't. If the math doesn't math, it's not on your audience to make it math.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just it felt manipulative.
Math ain't on your audience since to make it math. That's it. But that's exactly it. Like why should we now bear that burden? What like how is that on us as your audience? And again, it was blindsiding. They a lot of people were saying, why didn't you take a poll? Why didn't you start advertising this stuff sooner? Why didn't you ask people like, hey, this is what we're thinking of doing? You've been transparent so far. Why now all of a sudden do you have this business model in mind, and you're just going, this is the reality. You guys need to suck it up and deal with it.
Well, and especially if you're a big fan like I am, like I've even started listening to their podcast. Sorry. No, we don't I don't know. Don't mention another podcast.
Are you out of here? You being for real right
Well,
now?
no, there was a car driving. No, listen, there was a car driving by, and I happened to hear the podcast as I was on a walk.
Okay.
So I heard a good amount of it.
You should have plugged your ears, but
yeah, I mean, I couldn't help it. You know, I didn't have earplugs. Really? What do you want me to do?
Trying that hard to avoid other podcasts.
Yeah,
apparently.
I'm sorry.
What's their podcast about? Because they had the one where they gave people advice.
Yeah, no, it's not that anymore. It's essentially like just a chat show about whatever they feel like talking about.
Oh, another chat show where people
know.
feel like talking about what they want to talk about.
I know. I'm not going to say they stole it from us, but you know, there's no evidence to say they did.
No, there's other people stealing from us.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
More directly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I happened to hear some of their show, and they were really gassing up like the next season of their shows and stuff, and like really advertising, whether they meant to or not, how exciting it's going to be in the new season of Ghost Files, and like, oh, this is the best episode we've ever done probably. And then, you know, them again just recently promoting that they're going to do the new version of Worth It. Whatever it's going to be called. It's not going to be called Worth It. But like all those things just feel, again, like these slaps in the faces of everyone.
Yeah.
When suddenly, without warning, they're like, hey, to get all that, you're going to have to pay more. You know, like.
Right.
I don't know.
And
it's
again,
just terrible timing.
most successful podcasts make a shit ton of money. We'll get there one day. And even there's some
you said
people,
successful.
there are podcasters. There's podcasters who live off their podcast.
Yeah,
and then start doing extraneous shit because they want to make more money and they want to do more content and whatever. But they're living off their podcast.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So you telling me these guys with an extremely successful podcast, from all accounts, a successful Patreon, and a successful podcast,
YouTube.
Wait, did I
You
say
said podcast first.
Okay, successful podcast, successful YouTube, successful Patreon.
Yeah.
Now they need another source of income from us. That to me just it all goes back to being like super tone deaf right now. One of the main concerns politically that people across all political spectrums.
Yeah.
The number one concern right now is the economy.
Yeah, sure.
Whether that's true or not, there are people who have concerns about inflation who don't really understand inflation and don't really understand the economics.
Yeah.
However you feel about that is not the point. The point is that the number one concern for people, this is an election year.
Yeah.
The number one concern for people right now is the economy.
Yeah.
Where are they going to get their next meal?
Mm-hmm.
Are people living paycheck to paycheck? We're looking at the 1%, and more, the thing that is connecting the 99% is our disdain and resentment towards the 1%.
Yeah.
In the face of all of that, your choice is to go, you could pay us more money. I mean, I just think it's completely tone deaf, brain dead.
Look, I know we're living our dream, but we could use a little more of the moolah.
I mean, I could have more of my dream. Why can't I just have more of my dream? I know you guys.
I do my dream for you.
You guys are breaking your backs, and I see that. I see your back. It's broken. I see that. But
while it's broken, you can watch
it. You're laying down. You got nothing else to do. You might as well
I'll
watch
take that
it.
$6. Thank you very much.
All right. You don't need that. I'll take the whole wallet. Yeah, thank you.
Who needs paying bills?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a crazy thing, and the walk back is even crazier. Now I will say this, to go back to a question I think you had a couple minutes ago. I don't think it's going to really affect their bottom line that much.
No.
To be honest with you, I think that when you answer the call of your fans, people do appreciate
They
that.
do. The reception that I've seen across the board, with very few exceptions, has been, this is what you should have done the first time.
Right.
We appreciate that you're listening to us.
Right.
And this makes way more sense. Actually, I've seen this a couple times. Actually, now that you've cleaned this thing up and done right by your audience, I think I will subscribe.
Yeah.
Because it's optional.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
You're not making it seem like I need to do this
Right.
in order to be a fan still. So you know what? I will give you the money now.
And that's exactly it. This is how they should have handled it the first time. And they needed a little slap on the wrist.
I think so too.
They needed somebody to tap their knuckle with the ruler and be like, no.
You were not infallible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think people in that position start to think like we can do no wrong. I mean, they have been incredibly successful this whole time with almost no fails. Like everything that they've put out has been like, they've struck gold with almost everything.
And perception has always been high on them. Like, they've been fan favorites. Even if like,
except for Steve Lim.
Well, apparently.
Listen, I am just saying that I found my tribe, and it's all people who hate Stephen Lim.
Okay.
I didn't make this up. I didn't create this subreddit.
Did you find the Reddit?
I'm just saying that I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people, especially on Twitter, who was like
r/Stephen Lim hate.
Like, oh, I'm happy that everybody else is with me on this. Fuck Stephen Lim. I'll just say
it's rough, man.
Go into the first post on the Watcher Twitter account and look at the comments, and it's mostly people who are like, "This is fucked up. I can't believe you guys are doing this." And then there's a nice little subsect of people who are like, "It's fucking Steven's fault.
I knew Steven would do this.
Look at the way he's doing it.
I never trusted that Lim guy."
It's that fucking Lim guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All
I'm
right.
just saying.
Well.
I have a feeling about these people, sometimes,
Okay. No, it's fine, yeah.
sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I be talking about these people. I have a feeling about these people. I just know.
Was that Jay Leno?
I have a feeling about a guy. I just know. Sometimes I just know. These people. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Are they going to recoup this money? Like you said, is it going to prove to be this thing where, you could keep the ship afloat, you just wanted more money?
Sure.
And are we or are we going to see them come back and be like, listen, we're doing this for you guys. We love you. We love our fans. But at the same time, we did have to fire 15 people to keep this thing going.
Yeah. You're getting 3 shows now instead of 10.
Yeah. I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think that the quality of the shows is going to dip because they had to do this. I think that what they did was go back, restructure the business, and go, all right, this is how we can still get all of this shit done while simultaneously appearing to listen and acquiesce to this demand from the fans.
Yeah.
All the while still getting everything done that they wanted to get done.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it's been a fascinating saga to watch. Yes, man.
It was a subtle one.
It was.
Yeah.
To watch take place, these guys. I was when I first saw the first video, and it was like we're leaving YouTube, and like even the thumbnail was like, did someone die?
I felt like JFK got shot.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like the and then they're recounting their childhoods and how they got their jobs at BuzzFeed, and then when and I was just like, what am I watching right now? Did one of them die? Am I missing something? It felt like there was a death. It felt like a very
it was of their channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just tell you straight up. I'm like, I'm at a point now where I'm like, there is no incentive for me to pay any more money than what I am paying right now. I'm already paying too much. I know that. And like I said, I don't want to look at the amount of money.
No.
Because I'm already paying too much.
Oh, yeah.
There is nothing on this planet.
God's green earth.
That any entertainer can come to me and be like, this is worth your money. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. So...
Psych.
And I think that I speak for a majority of Americans when I say, like, there's nothing that you can really sell to me right now.
We are at a limit right now.
We're at a breaking point.
We are at a breaking point. I mean, I've admitted on this show, like, I have had to cut down on my subscription services.
Yeah.
Which is something I never wanted to do because I want all the things.
Yeah.
I want to be able to watch everything.
Same.
But I've had
It's
to go.
tough.
I've had to
It's
make that decision and go. Disney Plus. You gotta go.
Listen, we started the show talking about my trip to St. Augustine. All I did was drive an hour and a half to another city in the same state that I live in, and I came back going, I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Sherry and I just bought tickets to New York. I feel the same way right now.
Yeah. So, believe me, when I say
never travel during summer.
Dude, yeah.
Never. Just stay home. Stay home during the summer. I don't care where you are. Stay home.
Stay home.
Go home, stay there.
So to imagine,
Drink water.
Imagine me instead of going on a vacation and spending a couple days with my loved one and trying to have a good time and make memories. Maybe I'll spend $6 to watch another person chase ghosts that I don't even believe in. Yeah. All right. Yeah. The fuck out of my face. All right.
I think we covered that one.
Yeah, I think so.
We covered it.
I think so. All right. Last but not least, let's talk about something positive. You know, something good.
Okay.
Something good.
Tell me something good.
Which is to say, we're reviving a film series that is widely successful, widely critically acclaimed, and just all around a fun couple of movies to watch. We're getting 28 years later.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later, you're missing out.
Yeah.
It's one of David Fincher's best movies.
Nope, not David Fincher.
No, I'm sorry, not Danny Boyle. It's
There
one of
you
Danny
go.
Boyle's best movies. Sorry.
Very different guy.
Who directs the second one?
That's a great question. Let me see.
Very different style, by the way. Can you imagine a Fincher 28 Days
I
later?
can, actually. It'd be pretty wild.
Danny
all right,
Boyle.
28 Weeks. That was directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo.
There you go. Juan Carlos.
Fresnadilla. He's a Spanish film director and scriptwriter.
Okay.
He did Damsel, which a lot of people liked apparently this year. Yeah, he seems to do a lot of thrillers for the most part.
Juan Carlos.
But 28 Weeks Later seems to be his big hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're getting 28 years later.
Yeah. Long rumored. A lot of people were like, when are we getting 28 years later? Mm-hmm. Which I never understood because it's like, I don't think we ever really needed it. I think 28 Weeks Later ended pretty, definitively.
Yeah. 28 days later. It could have just been 28 days later.
Very easily could have just been 28 days later.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think we're just living in this generation of like, all right, when's the next one coming? Mm-hmm. And it's like these movies, sometimes a movie can just be a movie and it's fine.
Well, I think the only reason why people were like expecting it was because of the naming convention.
Yeah.
Days, weeks, years,
Yeah, it's like, it's just,
Are we going to do decades eventually?
Right.
Like,
28 centuries later, then
right.
it's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I can see it, actually.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. I mean, people, you maybe you set expectations, but there's certain movies that you just like, it can be, it's fine. Just leave it alone. It can live as this thing and just be a thing, and just a snapshot of this happening.
Yeah.
This end of the world thing.
Let Danny Boyle do something else, which he's done.
Yeah.
So,
Let Danny Boyle. What's the last thing Danny Boyle's done?
last thing I've seen of his was Trainspotting 2. which I loved. I thought it was fantastic.
It's a good movie.
Let me give it a little goog.
Oh, little goog.
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle.
Oh, Danny boy.
They're Danny boys. They're Danny boys.
Let's
Danny
see.
Boyle. Danny
Well,
Boyle.
I will say he is supposed to direct. 20
Years
later.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something to look forward to. All right, let's see here. As director, he's done some TV. Yeah, I think his last movie was Trainspotting 2.
Huh.
Back in 2017.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. He did Yesterday
Oh.
in 2019.
The Beatles movie?
The Beatles movie, yeah.
Okay.
You know.
I saw a clip from that, which I guess it's the end of the movie where he visits John Lennon.
Spoilers.
Sorry, spoilers for Yesterday.
Uh-huh.
He visits John Lennon, and it's like this,
Because John Lennon's still alive in this universe, right?
right? Because he's not a Beatle.
He's just a guy. Yeah.
And
Does he
it's
give
just-
him all the money?
he just knocks on the door, and he's just like, and John Lennon opens the door.
What the hell do you want?
Yeah, he's just like this
I'm beating
milky
my wife.
face, like I'm beating my wife in here. Get out of here.
I'm busy beating my
I'm
wife.
busy beating my wife. Yeah, it's just like it's supposed to be this like Marvel moment of like a reveal.
Sure.
I think there are too many studios that are wrapped up in trying to do the MCU thing of
Yeah.
revealing a character. Like, listen, those
Was
things.
it a post-credit scene?
Huh?
Was it a post-credit
I don't know.
scene?
I don't think it was post credits. I think it was at the very end of the movie.
Yeah. I could picture it in my head.
But not the something men, the Secret Service. What's that movie?
Oh, the ungentlemanly.
No, not that one.
The Kingsman.
The Kingsman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. In the latest one, which was a prequel,
Oh, yeah.
the reveal of
Yeah.
spoiler alert in the post-credit scene, they have a reveal that their next target is a young, strapping Adolf Hitler.
Uh-huh.
And it's like,
Which I kind of love.
it's funny.
It
I
is
think it's
funny.
hilarious
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
But it is a syndrome of
MCU.
the MCU.
Yeah, for sure.
Where we do shit like this and it's like, oh shit, Florgafov is in the next movie, and you're like, oh man, they're bringing Florgafov off the
Yeah.
out of the comics and putting him in a movie.
Yeah.
Who's gonna play him? Oh, I don't know.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner is back as Florgafov. So shit like that,
Yeah.
you know,
I got you.
we're past.
Yes,
maybe
but
not.
yeah, that's the last that Danny Boyle has done. But I want to also add, not only is Danny Boyle set to direct 28 years later, it's gonna be written by Alex Garland.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
famed, much celebrated film director and writer.
Yeah.
Alex Garland.
So I mean, all points are all signs are pointing to this being a worthwhile endeavor.
But wait, my friend, I have some more news for you.
Even more news?
Yeah, it was revealed that Aaron Taylor Johnson, ATJ is what we like to call him.
Anya Taylor-Johnson.
Jodie Comer and Ralph Fiennes are all going to be part of 28 years later.
Amazing.
So, I mean, that's
such a good cast.
killer's row.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't Jeremy Renner in 28 Weeks Later?
He is? Yeah, maybe that's why his name came to mind.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. He is, and then one of the guys from Trainspotting, I think, is in 28 Weeks as well. Yeah.
Yo, Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
Yeah.
This guy. I'm on board.
Anya Taylor-Jackson.
Anya Taylor-Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the ATJ
Yeah.
renaissance.
I
I'm
want
ready.
him to use his natural accent, too, which I
Yeah.
hope they let him do in 28 years. You know?
That one movie where he's playing the MCU movie that he's playing in. Or I guess it's a Sony movie, not MCU. The Sony movie where he's playing the Hunter.
Craven.
Craven.
Yeah.
So we got the Craven movie coming. They never officially
Craven's coming.
They never officially confirmed that he was Bond, but everyone was like, he's Bond.
And he's pushed back on that a bit recently.
He has to.
Yeah, like somebody asked him again more recently, and he's like, "Aren't you guys tired of asking that question?"
Yeah. Cool, because he's probably tired of lying about it.
Sure.
I cannot imagine a universe. When the rumor came out that they had landed on him, it was almost universally accepted as like good choice.
Sure.
This is a guy. He's young enough, talented enough,
Yeah.
good looking enough. It all works.
The only thing I could see being in the way is if his agent's like, "We need $1 billion."
Yeah, no, and I get that.
Yeah.
And that could be why he's like, don't get your hopes up, because if I don't get the money that I want, then
I
I'm
ain't
not
gonna
going to
do
do it.
Yeah.
And I get that. That's fine. But he's basically universally accepted as the new Bond.
Yeah, I think they'll shell out for him.
Just give him the money.
Yeah.
You gave Daniel Craig $50 million to do that last one?
Well, I can see a universe in which they're like, "Look, this is going to be so good for your career if you're Bond." They are probably trying to play it like, you should do it for the publicity.
Yeah.
We don't need to pay you that much.
Right. Yeah,
and
I get that.
on their side, they're probably looking at it like, we need to recoup some money.
Yeah.
Based on how much we did spend before. So they're probably trying to lowball him, honestly.
I hope
and
not.
be like, "Oh, you're a young up-and-comer."
I hope not, because if they just pick some random actor...
I don't know.
After everyone was like, this is the guy, good choice.
I don't trust it yet. I really don't. I don't trust it until we officially get the announcement.
I'd also be fine if they pivoted back to Idris Elba.
Hey, look, I know. Look, I know on face value, Idris Elba is, first of all, is old.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to say
Old.
it. He's old. He's an old man.
Old.
But if they just do like a one-off with him, are you kidding me?
I'd be fine with a one-off.
That'd be great.
Yeah, just do like a one. Yeah.
Do some stuff you wouldn't normally do in a Bond, like make it its own like standalone weird thing. Like make it a rated R Bond. Why not?
Do like a transitionary kind of thing where,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I've been just rewatching Luther. And
Luther's so good.
Idris Elba's just...
My brother
so
watched
good.
the first season, I think, of Luther, and he's like, he's the best.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. He is.
Idris Elba is so good. I'm
It's
like, yeah.
Even just that first season is a great standalone thing that you could just be like, oh, you want to watch something cool? Here's 6 episodes of this like incredible BBC series.
Which is why I love like British TV, is because they treat it like everything's a miniseries.
Yeah.
It's like they put all the quality into it. They make it pretty short, but it's like, this is the story and that's it.
Yeah.
We'll do another. They call them series because you can take it as this is all it is, or we're going to extend it a little bit more.
Right. Series 1, Series 2.
Series 2, yeah. Makes it feel more like a substantial thing,
Yeah, and when they end, you're like, that could be the end of it, and that's fine.
We can walk away here.
Yeah. Like, Fleabag was 2 seasons, and at the end of the second season, like, you could continue that story, or you can just leave it where it is. It ended in a way that I was like, that was an acceptable ending. A sad ending, but a good ending for a TV show. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's no way that they're... I just don't think there's any way that they pivot. I think that they set themselves up for failure. If anyone in that studio was responsible for leaking the rumors that he was the new Bond, they really set themselves up to fail if he changes his mind.
Can I give you a little thought here?
I'm all for it. All for your thoughts.
I think what happened was...
What happened was...
They thought by leaking, I think the studio leaked it. Excuse me. I think by leaking it, they thought that would add pressure to ATJ.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think that they leaked it in hopes of him seeing the reaction and him going, maybe I will do it for less. The people want me to do it. This is going to be huge. But instead, what he did is called their bluff and said, we haven't even talked. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nah, I think he's already signed the contracts. Dude, Ewan McGregor was denying that he was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I would too with that season of TV. It was fine. It was fine.
He was on talk shows straight up saying I mean, I hope that they call me in
Yeah.
the middle of filming the show.
Yeah. He had clearly the beard.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's already a done deal.
Yeah, maybe. Could
We'll
be.
come back to this and we'll see if I was wrong.
Sure.
Or not.
But that being said, okay, we got him attached officially to a Danny Boyle directed sequel
Yeah.
to 28 Weeks Later, which is already a fantastic film. Jodie Comer, like, well-respected, known actor. Ralph Fiennes, it needs no introduction.
No.
I mean, I don't know what else you need to get excited about this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, Alex Garland writing, are you kidding me?
Can't beat it.
I'm super excited, and I hope that Danny Boyle takes this opportunity to do more weird stuff. Because I don't know if you remember, but this 28 Days Later was unique in filmmaking because it was all filmed in digital.
Yeah.
And that was like the unique thing about it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
That was the thing that everybody ripped off from him for a couple of years.
Yeah. Because it looks real. It
Yeah.
looks more visceral. It looks like more
Had
low.
this like documentary style to
low
it.
quality. Like that's why it's like hard to make a 4K rip of it, because it's like there's a upper limit to how good it's going to look, but that's
Yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah, dude, I mean, we talk about it on this show. This is a Michael Mann podcast, I think.
Of course, yeah.
But you watch
Miami
like,
Vice.
huh?
Miami
Vice,
Yeah.
and you watch Collateral, and you're like, maybe you shouldn't have filmed it that way. You're trying really hard to
It
do
looks
this.
weird. It looks
does.
weird.
It's a weird look.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, probably could have worked better not
Well,
looking like that.
it's like when they did the Hobbit in like higher frame rate,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
60 frames per second,
Yeah.
or something, and it just ended up looking like a soap opera.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they did with the new Avatar movie too. There's certain scenes that
Oh,
are like
yeah, that's right.
so high
That's right,
quality,
that's
and
right.
it cuts back and forth, and you're like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
does it look like that
Yeah.
for 5 minutes?" And
It does take you out of it.
a little bit.
Yeah. We can say from experiencing it in 3D.
That's right.
I will say in Avatar it's a little less distracting because there is so much going on.
It is a visual spectacle.
Yeah.
So anything visually that happens, you're like, "Oh, that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
part of the ride that I'm on."
Sure.
So.
But yeah, I do hope that Danny Boyle does continue to experiment, because I think he is. I know he gets his flowers, but I think in the modern film landscape, he doesn't really get enough.
No, he doesn't get talked about enough.
He's one of the best of our generation,
Yeah.
and I hope he keeps innovating. I hope he makes a weird, interesting, scary, thrilling movie.
Yeah.
And I think with Alex Garland attached, like, it's going to be written well.
Yeah.
With the current actors on board, I think it's going to be acted well. I just hope that all these ingredients make a nice stew. You know,
Nice stew.
they give it the time, they give the energy it needs,
And hopefully Killian's back. Even
Yeah.
in a cameo. Even if he gets his face ripped off in a scene.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen.
He
I
just
hate.
shows up and you're like, "Oh, it's that guy." And then they just no.
God, I hate that so much. I was watching what was the name of the movie? Hostel 2.
Oh,
And they
such a bummer.
Spoiler alert for Hostel 2. They kill the main character like in
Yeah.
the first 15 minutes of the movie.
It's such bullshit.
And I was like, are you shitting me right now?
Yeah.
After everything we went through with this guy.
Yeah.
His entire revenge story at the last like 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And now he just gets murdered.
yeah, in like his own home, right?
Yes.
Didn't they come for him and
Yes.
kill him in his house?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. They come for him. The secret society comes for him and kills him.
yeah. That's
I was like,
fuck.
come on,
Yeah.
man.
It's one thing for him to like if he goes on another Euro trip.
Sure, then he deserves it.
Yeah.
But no, he just gets murdered at home.
Yeah, that was trash. Trash.
Garbage.
Terrible decision. Eli Roth, if you're listening to this podcast, which we know you are, terrible decision making on that.
I hated that
Awful,
so
awful.
much.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
I hate whenever they do that. But so all that to say, I hope they
Don't
don't
bring
do that.
Killian back just to kill
Kill him,
Killian.
yeah.
Oh.
Don't kill Killian.
Don't kill Killian.
Unless he goes out like a hero, you know?
Yeah.
Make him sacrifice.
Yeah, and give him some screen time.
Yeah. He deserves that after 28 days later.
Yeah.
Showing his dong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Swanging dong.
That's right. Swanging D.
Yeah. Slanging. Straight slanging.
So slanging.
Okay. Well,
right.
I think we did it. I think we did that.
I think so. All right. Well, we got two things to do, and you know what they are, kids.
Yeah.
First things first, you finished your beer. I don't know why you did that.
So sorry, I
Don't
forgot.
know why you did that. You want some of this? Just so you have something. Cheers.
Well, thank you. Yeah. That's great. Thanks for the sacrifice.
Unbelievable. It's time for the cheers of the week. And so, Obi, what are you cheersing tonight?
My cheers of the week goes to Late Night with the Devil.
Ooh.
Late Night with the Devil is a theatrical release horror movie by Shudder. Speaking of streaming services, one that I've held on to this entire time because they're quality.
Yeah.
They keep making some good stuff.
That they do.
And they've begun to become their own
Begun to become
their own production company.
Yeah.
And this was partially produced by them. I mean, I had heard a lot, mostly, unfortunately, because they got a lot of beef because they apparently used AI to make a couple of their still images in the movie.
I saw that and I was just like, I get it, guys, and I'm on your side, but we're really gonna cancel the whole movie because of a couple of production choices. I didn't agree with that.
And to be fair, they did talk about it and said look, we were making this at a time where this was brand new.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really this pushback against it. It was all looked at as this is promising technology that we could use to make our production a little bit faster and cheaper.
Yeah. I don't believe that either. That also sounds like bullshit. I mean, even
Could be.
The first time it was explained to me, I was like, that sounds like theft. That's not like I ever needed anyone to sit me down and be like, this is the real deal. Like the first time someone was like, this is what it is.
But I think there is some honesty to that because it doesn't make them sound much better. I think the honest part of it is that they didn't know there would be this much pushback.
Yeah.
So they used it when people were still into AI, really. I mean, people still are, obviously,
yeah.
but
Tech bros mostly.
Yeah, but I think the general public was more open to it without consequence.
I think the general public is just ignorant to it. I think most people don't know what it entails. I think they go, "Oh, it's like this new technology," and they don't understand. It's not new things.
What makes up how it works.
So the people who know how it works, they go, that's disgusting.
Sure.
And then there's the other side of people who are going artists are dead and they should kill themselves. And then there's the general public who don't really understand the difference.
Yeah.
They're the ones who, and for a movie like this, it's how do you even know that those are AI assets?
They admitted it. That's why.
And if they hadn't, no one would even know.
Probably wouldn't even known, yeah. So I think that's even more proof that the truth of this matter is that they, at the time of making it, didn't realize it had such a stink to it.
Yeah.
And so they just did it and ended up regretting it.
Yeah.
Because, that's just the way that the cookie crumbled.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a non-factor because the movie itself is so good.
Yeah.
David I always mess his name up. I'm so sorry. David Desmalkian. You know him as Polka Dot from Suicide Squad?
Yes.
I mean, I saw this take on Twitter, and I agree wholeheartedly, which is he is an actor who you've always seen as a fat guy that just needed a starring role to really, stick his flag down and say, I am an actor.
Yeah.
I can be a leading man.
Yeah.
And by God, he is.
Yeah.
He's so good. Phenomenal. And everyone does a good job in this movie. And, I think... it's one of the most interesting modern horror movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
So...
Okay.
I highly recommend it. It's now streaming on Shudder. So, get Shudder for free for a month or whatever and check it out. Along with When Evil Lurks is apparently a very good movie. I started at the gym.
Yeah.
Saw the first half hour.
You started watching a horror movie at the gym? What's the matter with you?
It keeps me going. I can't watch too many horror movies around Sherry because she's not big on.
He's calling you a pussy.
Yeah. We'll talk about this later.
We're going to talk about this later.
I didn't say that.
We're also going to talk about you watching horror films at the gym later, too. We're going to talk about that, too. You should talk to your therapist about that. What's the matter with you?
What better way to keep running than...
Watch, like old UFC fights. Watch old wrestling, Watch cartoons. Horror movies at the gym? What's the matter with you? Yeah.
I saw an opening and I took it.
What? What are you talking about?
Carry on. What is your cheers of the week?
My cheers of the week is going to... I'm trying to figure out how to word this.
Okay.
Because I've been thinking about it before the show. Like, not service industry workers, but like the service industry workers in like piece of shit dive bars who make your trip worthwhile.
Okay.
Those guys and girls.
The little people.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine how many people come to Orlando, go into the theme parks and stuff, and they stumble into Sports Town or Sideward or maybe even Red Light. Because I've talked to some of those people who are like, yeah, we are just here on trip.
Nice.
And we are here.
They're all German.
They're always German.
And Belgian, yeah.
And I've had a good time with some of those people. And I hope that I've shown them the time that I was shown when I went to these places in St. Augustine. And while I was there and talking to these people, I started to think about, I think I'm going to use this as my cheers of the week. Because I was like, these people, at least in this little thing that we do here, deserve the recognition that they probably don't get normally.
Sure,
Which is to just say that if you're a friendly person, that friendly face to certain people is enough sometimes. Like a trip can go one way or the other. A day can go one way or the other.
Yeah.
When your story... When you get home, your story is not, can you believe how they treated me? The story can be, can you believe how they treated me? It was awesome. It was such a nice day. These people were so nice to me. I just think that the people who don't even go above and beyond, but just do the bare minimum of saying, hey, how you doing? This is what we have here. Have a good time. Deserve that recognition, because you can really be a piece of shit to people if you want to be.
Sure,
at this point, it's really starting to feel like it doesn't even really matter. And again, I'm not somebody who even cares about there being consequences to that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go and write any Yelp reviews. I'm not going to, go around telling people like, hey, don't go to this place, except for Ancient City Brewing. Don't go to Ancient City.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Like I said before, maybe they were just having a bad day.
Sure.
And I think that I'm very forgiving of things like that. But when you're not put in a position to have to empathize with somebody, like, oh, maybe they're just having a bad day.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I work in the industry, and I know what it takes to be on all the time. And for people who are on all the time, I want you to know at least that it's not forgotten or ignored.
Yeah.
Not to
wax too poetic about it, but I think there is a sacred bond, I think, with a bartender and someone who goes into a pub or a dive bar.
Yeah.
That, especially if it's somewhere away from home, to make them feel as at home and as comfortable. And I think it's an ancient tradition, I think there's something to it. I think it's important.
Agreed. And also, don't abuse it to the people who come into these places. Don't abuse the fact that people.
It's a two-way street.
It is a two-way street.
It's not one
street.
way. Yeah.
Always.
Agreed.
Agreed. All right. Let's talk about these brewskis.
Okay. All right.
So tonight's brew was from Bell's. It was their cold-hearted IPA. A cold IPA coming in at 7% ABV. OB, what did you think?
I thought it was really good. I'm discovering I really like cold IPAs.
Yeah.
Which I kind of knew already, but
Yeah.
just further confirming that. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
4.5.
I don't think it's my favorite cold IPA, but it's good. It's really good. I think you can do far worse.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a good example of a cold IPA. So if you've never had one and you're in a place that doesn't have very many craft breweries that may dabble in IPAs, give this one a shot. I think it's a good starter for what a cold IPA can be as a style. Check it out. Recommend it.
Agreed. I actually had 4.5 as well, my friend.
Okay, good.
A unanimous 4.5. It's a nice, clean, hoppy, but not too hoppy, not crazy.
Smooth.
I
think that's the key part of the cold IPA is that it's very smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to compare them to the Two Hearted, or?
I mean,
Let's just say the flagship beer, the Bell's Two Hearted. It's a mainstay. It's a classic. It's a flagship beer, and for good reason. It's just, man, oh man, what an IPA.
It's a great go-to. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be so far as to give the Two Hearted a 5.5 or a 6. We're not reviewing it, I guess, in this episode, but
I definitely like it better than the Cold Hearted, just as a beer itself.
If you haven't had it.
Yeah, it's great. It's one of those that if we ever go out somewhere and I'm looking for an IPA, if they have Two Hearted, I'm grabbing it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's it.
All right. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, if Obi says we got it, then this episode is over. And this has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, and for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you.